Hey everybody, welcome to Color Conversations with Crawford Street. I'm Tanner and I am very glad to be here talking today about this color. Actually, we are in our spring collection of colors right now. If you follow along, you know that we take certain groupings of colors and then we present them to you and we just tell you, coming from a designer's perspective, what worked about these colors and what didn't work, and really how these colors felt in the space or on the material used or whatever. And then we want to just invite you to be a part of that conversation and just hope that just the way that you hear us talk about it helps you make up your mind. Either says, yes, this is definitely my color, or no, actually, I'm glad that I did a little more digging, a little more talking about this color because maybe it's not my color. So again, we're in our spring collection right now, and today's color is a very soft, gentle color, but it is still very bright and even energetic, even though it's very gentle. And it's very subdued in its color, like I said, because of the gentleness. It's not screaming color at you, but it's enough to where you're like, well, that's nice to look at. So today's color is Window Pane, Sherwin-Williams 6210. And you can see, like, it's so gentle. It's nothing in your face. It's nothing that demands attention or that will steal attention away from a great other standout feature, you know, great piece of art or a great stone mantle or fireplace or anything. So it's not going to bring drama. This is not a dramatic color. It is very subdued. If anything, it is going to probably tone down something. Like if you had a very busy pattern, it's going to kind of probably tone that down. But like I said, it's got blue and green as its kind of joint color. You know what I mean? So it is playful in a way, you know, so even though it is not striking, it's not bold, it is definitely there. You know, it's not just an off-white, even though its LRV is 72, which is right around the same level as some of our very neutral, AKA white colors, like Natural Choice, Westhighland White, like all of those are in 70s. So you're very light. You are, like I said, you're so subtly into color here. But because it is blue and green, it really makes an impact, you know, when you need it to. And so it's not a shy gentleness. It's not a boring or even basic, you know, color. It is color. It's just that it's barely there. And what I love about it is, this is the best way I could describe it, because like I said, it does have like this blue green, but it is so light that if you weren't looking at it in direct light, you'd almost be like, is that just a white color? You know what I mean? Like it's so light, but if you have anything white around it, you know, it's really going to show off that it is fun. It does have some great blue-green tones that are playing there. So again, what this really reminds me of, and it's perfect that it's called Window Pane, is, you know how glass is clear when you look through it, but if you look like through the side profile of a piece of glass, it has like that bluish green tint. Or like if you have like a ball of glass, like a paperweight ball of glass, you know, just like a sphere of glass. Again, if you look at the bottom, like where it's a chunk, where it's solid glass, it gives off this blue-green hint or tint. And so I love that, because that is what this reminds me of. It reminds me of like the fact that just like glass, this is not going to like impede your visual flow in any way. So if this goes on a piece of furniture in your room, no matter what really basically colors you have, this is not going to like stop your eye and be like, wow, you know what I mean? It's it's like glass. I mean, it's really just, you're gonna see through it, right? Your eye's just gonna keep going. Kind of the same thing on an exterior. If you have brick, or if you have a lot of neighboring homes that are a lot of colors or whatever, and you want a more subdued color, like this is not gonna stand out in a crazy way for shutters or main home or anything. But like I said, it's almost like when you get it at the right angle, just like the glass, you're like, oh, there's some blue green. That's not just white. That's not just, basic. So the way that you can really play off of this is to go kind of in a deeper teal, and that's a really fun balance. Like I said, so if this is like your main color on your exterior, you could do a deeper version of this color in your shutters, or something playful in like a jut out or whatever, your front door. And then it really makes this look intentional and not like accidental, like, whoops, I picked a white and it happened to be a blue-green white and I had no idea. That's the thing about this color, is because it's so subdued, you don't want it to look like you accidentally did this. You know what I mean? You want to make this look intentional. So it feels really good to pull more of that teal color out of it, and still in a very residential muted way, not like a bright, like, hey, crazy colored teal here, but like an ombre gray, or just even like a deep navy, or even a deeper green, like a pewter green, because it's cool. All of these, if you play into this barely there subdued color, it's going to tell your eye, hey, I wanted you to notice that blue green, instead of, if this is here and then all of a sudden you kind of have this brown roof and this, brown shutters, and it looks like nothing goes with that blue green anywhere. Was that intentional? So because of its subduedness, like I said, just be careful with making sure that it looks like, I wanted this to be this subdued. I wanted an almost white, just I wanted it to be color. Okay, so in saying that, ways that you could make it more obvious is put it next to a white. Don't put it next to a cream. Don't put it next to a grayed out white. Put it next to pure white. You know what I mean? Like the actual color pure white. Maybe Greek Villa, maybe Snowbound, maybe extra white, but make sure that you give it a white if you want this to stand out. If you want this to be obvious that you were going for a little bit of an undertone, but just barely, then show. See, you're basically saying to the viewer, this is white. I didn't want it to be white, but if you don't have a white, the viewer's like, did you want that to be your white? So, and then kind of the same concept in terms of making the eye not, or really appreciating the undertones. You could pair it with a strong black, you know what I mean? So like if you had a black shutter, then on this house, then that would also, a true black, it would showcase that there are tones, there's blue and green undertones in here, right? So if you're here and you're looking for like I said, a gentle but playful color for exteriors, for cabinetry, like I said, for a piece of furniture, if you're looking for something that you can introduce into a color palette that, like I said, will not like get in the way of anything, will not stop your eye from appreciating everything else you have around, then this is a great color. But just keep in mind that it is going to hold those blue-green undertones enough to where you want to make it look intentional. So you can do that by pairing it with white, or you can do that by pairing it with black, or you can do that by pairing it with another blue-green that's a little deeper or bolder, you know what I mean? And there's other ways, but like I said, if you're here and you're to this point and you need some more help with it, feel free to reach out or feel free to comment, and we'll be happy to help you with, our thoughts on what could work for your space. And keep in mind, guys, that every space is different. And that's, again, why we want to make color more of a conversation instead of just a formula, because this color will look totally different in your friend's house. This color will look totally different on an exterior than it will on the interior because of the natural light when it hits it and when it doesn't. If you have a shaded area that's really shaded, if you're looking for a front porch or a front porch ceiling and you're like, ooh, that's just enough blue-green for my front porch ceiling. Well, when you get no light on it, you're not gonna hardly see that. It's gonna look basically white. So again, color, there's so much more to do with color than just color itself, right? What is it surrounded by? What, is it paired with? What is it partnered with? What's it contrasted by? And all those things. So if you need help, reach out. And if you would like to have more color conversations, then subscribe and we will see you next time. Okay, bye everybody. Have a great day.